Alright, people you think could become the COH World or Global Champion in the next 2 years.
It's 2 years. Damn. Well, if Sonny keeps improving, yeah, he could do it, but he still needs to improve. Nitro, Stefan. Morris could be a champion if he was more dedicated. Because he's been a world champion in 2 other places. So, YTCW and SWA. He could, if he tried. But it seems like his heart's not into it as much as it was back in the day. Those would be my picks. There's probably others I'm not thinking about. Could make it. Ray Geddes.
In 2 years. First time holding the title?
Yeah.
Okay. In 2 years' time, I'm going to predict by that point you'll have a title reign with at least 3 of these 5 people. Stefan Guerrero, Ultimate Nitro, Kenyon Phoenix, who else?
Scott Adams. Daniel Mars.
You know what? I'll give it to them both. Yeah, actually, those are 2 good names I'll put in there because I think if Scott improves enough to the point where he is seen as like a serious threat to the title, go for it. Just try it. See how it works. Man has worked his ass off as far as Claw goes for as long as I've known him, and he always seemed to gotten the short end of the stick or fucked over somehow. If he puts in the effort to make himself to that level character-wise, give it to him. Just give it to him. Daniel Mars, same way, because he has to overcome not only almost half the people on the roster not liking him as a character or as a person, you also have to overcome the obstacles of other people's storylines, management itself, your own character and how it changes over time, and the potential for what might end up. Also, actually, for like a nice little dark horse, this guy.
Oh yeah, Sako. Yeah.
I could be world champion.
In 2 years.
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
You see that, man? And people thought the exact same thing about Jay Briscoe.
Everywhere I go.
Anyway.
I don't even think you're Sako. I think you're just Jay Briscoe wearing a CM Punk shirt.
Maybe. Alright, and this one is from Andrew. Ways you think the addition of Fisk being added to the Actor Enterprise could have worked better?
I didn't think he should have been added in the beginning. It was not my hill to die on, but I don't think his addition would have helped or hurt him. I think it would have been 6 of one, half dozen the other. He, to me, needed to be on his own. He didn't need our assistance. I mean, I came up with a way of how to bring him in.
Right.
But it was all Travis. Travis was dead set on it. It was not my hill to die on. I just did not care to fight it.
It was honestly, too, just a matter of the timing of it all.
The timing.
It's like, oh, look, it's like a faction starting up now. It's a small little group.
Here's the thing.
It's like dark.
The
darker group.
The Accurate Enterprise, I wanted it to keep it just us 3. You, me, and Scott. That's how I wanted it. Because I knew that if we started adding more members, it was going to get over-bloated, especially with the addition of Fisk and then later Ego. It was like, I thought the Accurate Enterprise had succeeded because you had 3 different individuals. They all have 3 different personalities. They have all 3 different reasons to do what they want to do. Now you're adding in Fisk. Now you're adding in Ego. We just got done saying earlier why the OBN got stale. It was because you had all these people cluttered in. So why do you think the Shield was the most successful group in the last 10 to 15 years? They all established something about themselves, and not to mention, they didn't start bringing in more people. It was just them 3.
Now, Fisk, I will say, though, as a character being added into the Accurate Enterprise, character-wise made sense. Like, to me, looking at it from that perspective, it's like, well, I'm a young guy starting up in this company. I have a sort of relatively similar gimmick. These guys are more experienced and can give me a rub, which he has obviously gotten. If you're going to take anything away from it, he got a rub and he can run with it now. If he's going to, it's up to him. But as far as career-wise, in COH, the pros outweighed the cons in the end. But the cons were what sort of also fucked up the Accurate Enterprise. But the Accurate Enterprise, overall as a group, will always be, to me, I will include Fisk in that group. It will be a 4-person group in my mind. Because Fisk was a sort of... He was like our ace in the hole, basically. Like, if you're able to make it through a guy who will powerbomb you on steel steps, a person who will mentally torture you and drive you into insanity, and a person who will absolutely stop at nothing to get what he wants, then you have to deal with a person who can't be beat. Come on! Like, that's basically cheating at that point. And as a heel group, like, that was sort of what we needed. I don't know. That was just me. I liked it. He has his opinion on it.
Alright, since we're on Fisk, Fisk, do you think his future as he rises among the ranks in COH is as a top heel or as a top babyface?
Honestly, the way that I'm seeing the rise of Brock Lesnar as a face leads me to believe, and pardon me for leaving him out of the list, but as another person in 2 years who could also potentially win the title, would also be him. If you give him that Brock Lesnar run of just, I'm going to kick the shit out of you, and you don't, this isn't a match with me, you have to survive me. Like, I'm just here to chalk up another notch on my belt.
In other words, if you really want Fisk to get over, he has to be booked like Brock Lesnar. Like, his matches have to be where it's a one-sided fight, and the only way the other guy's going to win is if he pulls a fucking rabbit out of the hat.
Or cheats. Out of the ass.
Right.
Like, you know.
That's how Fisk has to be booked.
That's how he has to be booked, and he could work that way as a heel or a face. But why do you want to boo somebody who always wins? You probably don't.
And kicks ass, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Kicks fucking ass. That's why Brock Lesnar got loved so much.
I think it can work. Absolutely.
I think it could work. Plus, he's pretty generally liked by most people, so
Well, yeah,
people are already cheering him, quote unquote.
Yeah, he's my Buffalo bro.
Yeah, he's because he's respectful to people. He knows his place. He's not arrogant.
And that's another thing. Side note: if you're coming into like Call, I know it's a video game and all that nonsense. Right? We understand that. Don't be a dick, though. Don't come in with your head up your own.
This is not real professional wrestling where you can be a dick. It's like,
and even then, in real professional wrestling, like here, we might get pissed off at you over some keyboard shit and talk to you on Skype. Real wrestling, if you come into the business with an attitude like some people have had, like for instance, not to really name drop him, but Christian Gary, if he had the attitude, like for real, would have probably had attempted murder.
Well, yeah, they would have gone old school. They would
like assault.
They would have taken him in the locker room, give him like 5 minutes, and beat his ass.
Yeah, people would take turns.
Yeah.
Seriously. Like, and that's it.
It would be like that scene in Full Metal Jacket where they take Gorman Pyle and they fucking like...
Yeah, they got the...
Yeah, the socks, and they just whip the shit out of him.
With the that's what bars
they,
and the...
Yeah, they would... That's what would happen.
So, just a side note, don't be a dick if you're a new guy. That's half of the reason why Andrew got over and got, like, with, like, the right crowd, basically.
Alright. And this one, by the way, is on anonymous. I have no idea who sent this, but did you two double team this guy's mom? Honestly, that question was sent in.
Who's this guy's mom?
Anonymous. Nope. I don't know whose mom this is.
I don't know, but if I did, I'm fuck you.
If we did end up double teaming somebody's mom, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, sure. That sounds like something J-Crack would have.
I hope that the rash goes away soon. You need to apply ointment to the areas of infection. And please make sure that your coochie is air dried 90% of the day.
Yes.
Alright.
Alright.
Alright, for Steve, how did your feud with Justin Bateman happen, and what was the behind-the-scenes story behind it?
Alright, I'm told this story, it's because I was never told a definitive story, but this is the one that I've come to realize is what happened. Travis did not want to put me in main event because I had been main event elsewhere, and he wanted to book more new talent. That's why Justin Bateman became the first World Heavyweight Champion. From what I was told, Bateman was the one that vouched for the feud with me. Bateman, the way I earned Bateman's respect was Bateman did a promo on me where he just shoot the shit. It was like a shoot work promo. In other words, you couldn't tell if he was being serious or if it was just character. And
Great way to work most of the time.
right.
Honestly.
So he was going to test me. He was like, should I do this, should I not? And then he just said, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to do it. And I decided, rather than bitch and moan that he took personal shots, because he took personal shots. Somebody could have said he went personal. Instead
What did he say?
well, he insulted my appearance, he insulted the way my promo style was, he insulted, it was really deep. But instead of whining and bitching, I threw it right the fuck back at him.
What you need to do, by the way.
I threw it right the fuck back at him. I said, alright, you want to say I'm a ripoff of R-Truth, you're a fucking asshole who's ripping off Alberto Del Rio. You want to say that, and one of the things I said was, there's going to be a scenario. See, I want you to look at these lights. Look at these lights up here. Get very familiar with them, especially in our title match, because that's what you're going to see. And to your left, you're going to see all the fans that supported you, and they're all going to be crying. And you're going to turn to your right, and you're going to see my legs. And that's me standing, holding your title. So, I earned his respect, and I think it was him that vouched for me to beat him for the title. But truth be told, that wasn't my first feud. My first feud was with Christian Storm, which went nowhere. Who? The first internet champion, it's Stevie Richards, okay? So, who? That's how that came about, if you're wondering. So it was Justin Bateman who pulled to feud with me, and it was Justin Bateman that pulled for me to beat him for the title.
Alright. Oh, this question seems to come in all the time. Just why did Adam Jackpot, aka Kenyon Phoenix, throw away Jay Crown's cookie? It was a chocolate chip cookie. He threw it away. Also, what are your thoughts on this sickening
Put it this
accident?
way. Okay, at Simpsons they have these things called lard light donuts. Do you mind if I have a piece?
You can go ahead.
Alright, thank you. See, here's what I'm doing. I'm cutting up this donut, right?
Right.
You know what I'm going to do with it? I'm going to eat it. And it's a good fucking donut. I am not wasting good pastries, desserts, snacks, etc. Can you? I think I could say this out in the open because he didn't keep his mouth shut. We are planning to feud at some point. That little tidbit almost got me to want to bury you. You would have been Booker T to me at WrestleMania 19.
Ooh!
Just because of that cookie.
Oh no, not WrestleMania 19, Booker T. You mean the one that was supposed to win but didn't?
Yeah, because your boy, the one you just defended, fucking politicked his way to beat him.
I don't recall. No, actually, I do recall, and that is one of the biggest regrets of, like, any wrestling booking decision, but especially for Triple H.
That's how I feel. Fuck you, Kenyon. I love you too. You can keep your cookie.
Alright, things you disagree with in Call. I guess.
I disagree with owners not being open-minded. I disagree with people who, how should I put it? I disagree with like what Christian Gary does, where he can't seem to find the fine line between kayfabe and reality. So, because sometimes I don't know what he's all about. I disagree with bullying, but that's really not about Call. But there is bullying in Call.
I just don't like the fact that there's some times where like the owner is 100% wrong and just doesn't want to admit it at
David.
all, or they don't want to come to a compromise. If you can't do either of those things, then why the fuck are you an owner in the first place? You are not supposed to be a tyrant. You are not supposed to be the be-all, end-all. You're not Vince. Stop pretending, okay? You're not. It is a group effort here. You have to be, at least, some of the time, a likable person.
And to be fair, the owner has to put his foot down once in a while. He does.
To be fair.
Yes, especially when shit gets out of hand.
Justin Collins, for instance, is a very good case of someone who never put his foot down in anything I ever saw him in.
Right. He was too much of a nice guy.
Yeah.
I remember, alright, just to share a story, I'll try to keep it short. He wanted to pair me and Stuart up. Stuart's character was Seth McInerney. We all know Seth McInerney. He's kind of like Alex Enterprise, political. Right. My gimmick was...
We'll talk about that in a second.
My gimmick was Stephen Koresh. I was supposed to be a religious zealot. I was the second coming of Christ. It was inspired off of David Koresh, the leader of the Davinian Church. He wanted to pair us up together. A guy that hated authority with a guy that appreciates authority. So, he made Daniel Mars win the title and then lose it to, what was it, Garnet Court? I don't remember.
I don't know.
I don't remember either. No one does. It was all an acid trip. Let's just pretend.
No, YLWA was an acid trip, and it was a good one.
Oh yeah, it was actually.
That's what I disagree with.
And one more thing I do really disagree with is, like what he was saying earlier, how some people can just take stuff too seriously to the point where even if, like, somebody's trying to cut a promo, I want somebody to react serious, but in a good way. And there's, most of the time, people overreact too seriously in a negative way.
Ace Walker.
So, that's something that can be a really big hindrance to a lot of people in Call, in general. Some of the times that I've cut promos, I've said some stuff about, like, the roster, where it's like, I would sound like how you were saying earlier, how Amir would talk to people, like, I'm this person because you guys can't do it, or you just don't have the balls to say what I say. And I'm saying how I feel about some of the roster, but it's a character promo. So it's like I'm being real, but you don't really think I'm being real, but you kind of do, because I'm still saying it.
And with me, like, sure, I have some political views that me and Alex have disagreed upon, which I won't disclose here, but for the most part, I don't give a fuck about politics as much as this guy does. He's more of the political guy out of us two. That's why I think I work better as a guy that just doesn't give a fuck. I'm the guy that's going to mentally torture you, and I know how to.
So please expect, like, don't go into trying to talk shit to M accuracy and then get offended if he's like, well, I fucked your grandma's old rusty cunt. And
even though I did, I'm just saying.
Like, he will say that. So
look, I treat everybody equally.
Listen, everybody equally.
Yeah, including you, asshole. So, no, I treat everybody equally. I mean, if you were to say some dumb shit, then yeah, I'm gonna say you said some dumb shit.
Exactly.
Like,
you can't be afraid to be that guy, and that's the other thing. Some people are afraid to be that guy. Some people are afraid to have somebody come after them, or a group of people come after them for saying what they feel. And Jay Crack was saying the exact same shit on this last episode that you did. You pull your balls out of wherever you place them and put them back on you and like reassess what's going on, because this at the end of the day is all in good fun, and it's all it's meant to be.
By the way, this donut is fucking good.
Yeah, it is.
You might want to stop me because I'm about to eat the whole thing.
Yes, no, seriously, I will stop him for you because he will not. And
I have no limits. I'll buy my own when we go there, but goddamn, that's good.
There's a Slim Jim story to tell, but that's a whole different thing to talk about.
Go ahead.
Well, long story short, I bought enough Slim Jims to last us the entire week-long vacation that was meant to be shared amongst our group of 4 people equally.
And I finished them in like 5
I come
minutes.
back and it's like, wait a second, I didn't even say you could have all of them, and they're all gone. There was like 30.
No, 15.
15? But there were 2 boxes.
Yeah, I only had 1. I only had 1, I remember that.
Anyway.
Maybe it was 2. Holy shit.
They were the small ones.
Hey, you know, somebody's gonna turn this in a sexual innuendo with the fucking Slim Jim.
They were the small sticks of meat, not the longer ones. The small ones.
The more you talk, the weirder it's getting.
Small.
Oh, since you guys talk about people being afraid to say stuff, who are some people you think? I know some people have been saying in recent episodes that Fisk Andrew is someone who kind of holds back and is kind of afraid to say what he actually thinks.
I do feel like there is a part of that character that he can really dig down into from that, which is like, well, you guys want me to say all this stuff and get it all off my chest. You really want me to do that? Well, alright, fine. Here it is. And then he does, and everybody's like, oh, wow.
See,
oh,
as much...
no, what did we do?
As much as I said that Amir comes off arrogant, he is honest, I'll give him that, but there's nothing wrong with standing up for yourself. It's always how you word your stuff. You can always present something and it not come off as arrogant or offensive or whatever. There's always ways.
I feel like that can be said for rap metal. Because as a group, they're a good tag team. However, I do feel like there's a part of them, especially with Levi, that holds back. Perhaps for fear of looking stupid.
Well, yeah, because
perhaps a fear of...
he had problems with Amir even more severe than myself. If you thought I didn't like them, these two were at it. All right.
I'm saying, yeah, of course, but nowadays that's not the situation.
As far as I know, yeah, I haven't talked to Evil War in a while.
But I feel like that with rap metal, also with who else would be some other people, at least off the top of your head?
Justin Collins. Justin Collins. He was always afraid. At one point, I think you were afraid.
Yes, I was. Yes, I was. I had to come out of my shell. That's what everybody has to do. I feel like Kevin Cross, Kevin Crisis, he can hold back at times. Might not be fear, but he holds back. I feel like there's more that can come from him as a person, as a character, as a promo cutter, whatever you want to call it. Who else? I felt that way, especially actually when he was doing the end time stuff. Let's see. Sonny. He actually,
recently, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if he took it as heat.
Well, even if it is heat, so the fuck what? You're getting the push. Take it. The same exact thing can be said for Roman Reigns. Let's be real here. If you are a guy sitting in the backstage area and you are given the ball, I don't care who you are, you're not going to say, no, give it to that guy. You don't know when your time will come after that. You take it when you can.
But I think that's what made Roman Reigns fail, is that he didn't take the ball and run with it.
He took what he got and he got a rub from it.
He took the ball after Royal Rumble and then he started like dropping it. Like he was like everybody's watching him and he just kept fumbling the ball. That's what I think was with Roman Reigns, but that's real wrestling.
Regardless though, those are like the few people I can think of off the top of my head. Besides that, I can't can't think of too many people right now. It seems like who are too fidgety or afraid to say some
See,
stuff.
that's one thing I respect out of Marco. He'll say what's on his mind. I've never. There are times when me and Marco disagreed, not just in wrestling, but I respect him because he was willing to challenge me. And again, there are ways to challenge somebody and not come off as like conceited, arrogant, etc.
Right.
So, and
It's
Marco
all-
knows that fine line.
It's all a matter of one word. T-A-C-T, tact. Which some people, L-A-C-K, lack. Find it.
In F-A-C-T, fact.
Tyson Kidd.
Fact.
Yes.
Alright.
Underrated topic.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, this is an interesting one. A quote by one interesting individual. Can men be bisexual? I know women are. Well, some are. That's Reggie, by the way, if you didn't catch that. Reggie,
Repeat that?
can men be bisexual? I know women are. Well, some are.
Alright, so yeah, men lack the ability to like dick and pussy at the same time. Yes,
Let me
really.
just... I'll throw one name out there. And if you haven't heard of him by now, where have you been? Frank Ocean. And Frank Ocean is bi as hell. And he gets those panties moist like a son of a bitch. If you find a chick that listens to Frank Ocean, chances are she's probably a freak. And he likes guys and girls. Who else is bisexual? Is there any other like famous people besides him?
You
He's
would
like
know
the
better
most
than me.
major.
I would
Recently, yeah.
I don't try to
But
follow
yes.
people's sexual orientation all that much, so...
Yes. Well, it was a big like media.
Like,
story
I'm one of the
when it
few
happened.
that if you tell me you're gay, I'm not gonna be like, oh, congratulations, oh, I'm so glad you're honest. If you're gay, you're fucking gay. Who gives a fuck? It's not supposed to be something that we make a big deal out of.
That's actually what we're going to end up having someday. Is like, hey,
Hopefully, yeah.
I'm blank.
Okay.
All right, cool.
I don't think they should be rewarded. I don't think they should be punished. They just are what they are.
Now,
That's what it is.
however, to answer the question, yes, men are or can be bisexual. Men can also be, let's see, pansexual. Men can also be asexual. Those two are just look them up. All right, there's a whole lot of sexualities out there. Reggie, you poor soul, please just do a Google search. Google is your friend, man. There's so much stuff to learn out there. The internet is your friend. Just don't go to the sites that say, like, she-male porn or stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah. Moving on.
Alright, for Steve, when are you going to return to commentary?
When somebody asks me to be a commentator, no one's ever asked me. That's
As
really
Stephen Meadows,
As Stephen Meadows, I mean, unless
the reason why no one's asked for Stephen Meadows to be a commentator is because their show is probably already bad enough. They don't need it to be.
Pretty much.
They don't need to have mayo basically sludged all over
If-
the entire show.
I'll tell you this much: I don't know what Travis is doing when it comes to both Slam and Battleground. But if he comes up to me and says, "Okay, I'm going to commentate this show. You want to commentate that show," I will take the opportunity to say, "Okay, fine." But it seems like he's given that to Sonny.
Yeah.
So Sonny's going to take that.
And also too, I mean, hey, Patriot and Gluteus, you're always going to hit them up.
Right. And Patriot, you know how he is on commentary. He's outrageous.
Of course.
Huh.
He's nuts.
Alright, for the both of you, favorite feuds you've had?
My feud with Zayn. My feud with Zayn. And Bateman, only because it was the starting point of me really getting into the character. But my
How could it not be a favorite too? Y'all did it on and off for like 2 years.
The thing with Bateman was I like it because it was my first feud. I like the feud that I had with Zayn because it was my perfect it was the feud that I felt like I did not lack. I thought I brought my A game, and I think that's where the M accuracy character really flourished.
Mm-hmm. I'd say my, let's see. First, like, shit. Okay, 3 feuds. One was my feud with YTCW, because if we're being honest, me as just like a Caw show owner, that was my real introduction to like what the game is like and how to play it. That was a real feud. It really happened, and it was serious.
It's all about control and how you take it.
Yeah. But then besides that, in COH, the only place that I've actually had like major feuds, it's definitely Patriot and Zayn. Zayn was the feud that put me over. That match, the Hell in a Cell match, I'll rewatch that over and over again.
I'm going to say something controversial just for the sake of it, and it's not because of bias. I actually preferred my Street Fight over the Hell in a Cell.
Which is great.
Yeah.
That's his opinion. Like,
because I think the feud between the Accurate Enterprise and Zayn, it focused more on me and Zayn than it did on you and Zayn. And while your match was good, I couldn't get into it as much as the Street Fight, because at least with the Street Fight, I knew that Zayn was going to kill M accuracy, and M accuracy, while he was going to do some damage himself because he loves to hurt people, he was going to enjoy what Zayn was going to produce.
And that's actually the thing. Zayn really did kill M accuracy in that match. So it kind of basically helped me win the Hell in a Cell in a way. But
yeah.
Also, I got to do a super pile driver. And how many other people can say that they did a super pile driver?
Right.
Seriously. Who is going to get up from a super pile driver? No one. You're done. Like, it's over. And I took his finish. Like, right there. I took his finish, kicked out, bitch, die. I did my finish, then did the super pile driver. So it's like, it was a serious, it reminded me of like, your match was like Kevin Steen El Generico, when like any of their big fights that they had, or a street fight or something like that. And my match was like some sort of crazy Ring of Honor World Title match or something that happened to be inside of a steel or Hell in a Cell cage, where it's like we took each other's finishers and big bumps and moves. It was like, whatever. I'll keep going. I'll kick out. Don't worry. It's a 2 count, man. 4 finishers on a rope. 2 count. Basically. But that was also like the storyline that helped get me over. After that match, it was like, well, where do I go from here? I've already basically beaten the mid-card champion. So it's like, just straight from there, it was upper mid-card main event. Then the Patriot feud, which, as far as overall feud goes, made the most sense, had the best story, put us both over, and it allowed me to do the one thing I've wanted to do since I got the guy in YLWA, which was put Patriot the fuck over. Like,
not only that, but that feud proved that Patriot can be serious. Nobody ever saw him as a serious guy. I mean, first, the thing about Patriot that I love is that he has proved so many people wrong multiple times. First it was, oh, well, I can never see him as a babyface. He gets over as a babyface and he's instantly loved. Then it's, oh, I can never see him as a serious character. He gets serious and he is awesome. Then it's, I can never see him as a world champion. He wins the world title and everybody fucking loves it. He's constantly proving people wrong.
And I love that match too, where Patriot beats me for the title. And the reason why is because that match was an idea that I had sparked in my head like 9 to 10 months prior, something like that.
It was a year, actually.
Really?
Before that. Yeah.
The idea was, what the original concept was supposed to be is a real back and forth where I take Patriot's mask, and originally the idea was I was going to throw his mask in the garbage and the American flag and burn it. Like, of course that never was able to happen. I was going to do it. Like, that was an idea I had set. Patriot was really going to want to kill me, and he did, but the way the match ended was just a little bit off to what I was trying to go for. It still worked though. It was supposed to be the beard guy, Carl Jams. It was supposed to be Carl Jams. He was replaced by Amazing Punk. That's about it. Like, storyline-wise, it was a perfect crescendo, and it needed to happen. I had already beaten the other #1 contender, Caleb Blair. I had then, before that, beaten every other champion in the company in a Hell in a Cell match. Come on. If I beat Patriot at the end of this, then I have to go on to face the guy that I already beat at Summerfest 2. It didn't, to me, that wouldn't have worked again as a main event title match. Right. It would have been great, but it wouldn't have worked as well as giving Patriot that one-off.
Right.
And the idea still flowed like a year on, and it got him over. And I think that's why you prefer that match too with Zayn, because that was also your brainchild. Right. That story of, I'm going to get killed and enjoy it. And Zayn won, but did he really?
No. Yeah, and think about it. That match, I kicked his ass too. I pedigreed him to a table. I threw him, did a stroke onto a table. I did a lot of shit to him. So it wasn't like it was just one-sided fight. So, and it made Zayn look like a main eventer. So.
All right, and this is a very big one for you in particular.
Oh God.
Now with this big Ultimate Glory match, and this, I believe, is going to air, depending on when Travis uploads it, after Ultimate Glory. If we're going to say hypothetically, just in case, if the Alex Enterprise does lose to M. Accuracy, what is the future of the Alex Enterprise, or you in call?
If, and this is for instance, because trust me here, you're dealing with some masterminds. This guy could be losing just as badly. You really don't know. I want that to be absolutely certain with people. As much as you might have heard rumors, or you might have heard me say, oh man, I'm tired, maybe I might just want to be done with Caw, I might want to just try and drop the gimmick, maybe let's not do it as hard, probably just take a break from Caw or something like that. Who's to say that that wasn't just a purposefully planted seed? Really? Really now? Do you think I'm going to work as hard as I did on this character just to stop? So no matter what happens between me and this guy at Ultimate Glory 4, which in my mind, in his mind, in some other people's minds, the real main event of that show. No offense to the title match, but you're dealing with Undertaker, Shawn Michaels 2 level here. Really. In that vein, I will say then, no, Alex Enterprise will not be done with Caw. Alex Enterprise can't be done with Caw because Caw needs me. Trust me. And if anything, too, who's to say that I'm not just going to do Alex Enterprise with YLWA, my own federation, when I do it again? So, whether or not me and COH, which I want to keep that as ambiguous as possible, whether or not me and COH are going to part ways, I'm always going to be watching. And who knows, if I get retired, man, it's always just retired. Whoever retires.
Also, by the way, Jay says hi and that he loves you both.
Tell him.
He's my special senpai.
Oh. Oh, never mind.
Yes.
Let's see what you two have going on.
Yes. No. I'm trying not to. It's your donut.
Hi, Jay. I won't be the weird one here. This time.
Alright, and now we're going to get to the ever so popular name association.
Ooh, finally.
That means that we're going to be ending soon. Okay, good.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm
so sorry.
I'm surprised that nobody asked me about how I came up with the fun arcist gimmick, but that's fine.
If you are still watching at this point, first
God
of all,
bless you.
why?
Actually, Dean Ambrose bless you. Sorry.
And second of all, thank you.
Go ahead.
Alright. Travis.
Good friend, even better cause show owner.
The one guy responsible for all the fun that I've had for the past 4 years in a coffin. I couldn't ask for a better friend. He's funny. He's very open-minded to anything, especially with me.
I seriously wonder too where Travis is going to end up. Like, people that work with him or around him, Travis is one of those sort of cats where it's just like, man, you don't know what exactly he'll be doing 5-10 years from now, but you know he's going to be making some pretty good money and entertaining people, because that's what he does best. He is an entertaining character. He is a person who has great comic wit, who has a great voice, who has acting range and talent, very eclectic sense of taste of music for his age, and just an overall genuine person. And that's hard to find.
Right.
Alright, Scott Adams.
Scott, how long have you known Scott? Because I think you've known him for a little bit longer than I have.
I've known him, I want to say, since 2009.
Yeah, about the same from...
He is
about
not, he's not the same guy from 2009 as he is now. Back then, how do I remember Scott? I will agree with your statement earlier. He is a guy that has put a lot in the car and has gotten shit for it.
He has,
I know,
especially by him.
for whatever reason, he's always given me the world title whenever he starts his Fed, which is, I appreciate. I feel like his Fed was underrated in some cases. But the first Fed, the first time he ran it, I gotta say the story now that we bring up Scott.
Okay. Oh boy.
We know Kevin Crisis. He is Spanish descent. He's got a tan on. Okay, so when he first made Kevin, I can't remember what character his name was. It doesn't matter. He made him black. Kevin had to remind Scott that I'm not black. So in the very next episode, he came out white. And when, upon explaining this, he said that he fell into a mud bath and had to clean himself up. Now, if this were YLLWA, I would be like, okay,
this would just
that's just Alex being a douche nozzle.
Yeah, that's just like, oops, I fucked up, guys. I fell in mud.
Scott, I will never, for as long as I know you, even if my girlfriend is falling from a fucking cliff and you rescue her, the first thing I will say to you is, I love you for saving her, but remember when you turned Kevin Crisis into a white guy. No, I will never forget that. You will remember that for the rest of your life. Good guy, though. Yeah. I will say that. He's a good guy. He's helped me a lot. He was helping me a lot trying to save some of the SWA footage. Even though it's to no avail, it's the thought that counts. So he was a major help.
And also, one of the best logo creators.
Yes.
He just...
Logo creators.
He'll just, like, oh, hey, what do you want me to do? Just this, and this. He'll give you, like, 3 different ideas of, like, oh, okay, here's, I did this, and I did this.
The Ultimate Glory poster that he made, fantastic. Fucking-tastic.
Yeah. So kudos to Scott for basically, for the past 7 years, 6 to 7 at least, YTCW was the first place he was doing it in, and then after that he did it for almost everybody else. If your Caw Federation looks good, it was probably due to him giving you the logos.
Or intros, even.
Yeah. He is great on that end. And a great guy.
Alright, Kevin Crisis, Kevin Cross.
I'm going to let you go first because I've got something interesting to say about Kevin.
DVR. That's him. Everybody that's listening, except him, doesn't know who I'm talking about. DVR was my guy in YLWA, who was actually, if I kept going with YLWA, probably going to be a world champion. The idea of him was he's just sort of like Zane LaFontaine was in earlier COH. Fun-loving, really athletic, and basically it was like a Rob Van Dam knockoff. But what he brought with that was the character of the highlight reel, it seemed like. Although that was a bit of a contest between him and Travis, but that's a whole other story.
Oh god, I'm thinking of an insult that Johnny and me made on him when he was DVR.
But overall, like, since I added him into YLWA, as him being a friend of Travis's, and then going off from there, ever since I've known the guy, he's always been cool. Like, we haven't gone into a whole lot of detail into talking, not a whole lot of personal conversations, but never a hard guy to talk to or get a conversation out of. Always a cool guy. Respect that.
Right. My thing is, I've made him the world champion first. I was the first guy to ever give him the title. I made him win at WrestleMania, my main event. He's a cool guy. I like talking to him, especially about things like wrestling, etc. My only thing is, and I'm just going to point this out, if Kevin hears this, please give me a response. I do feel like everything that I've done for him, I don't feel like any appreciation for. Maybe it's just the vibe that I get, but I remember when I gave him the world title for the first time, he acted like as if like he didn't give a fuck, which I'm not talking give a fuck as in like, oh, it's just fun, whatever, yada yada. I'm talking like don't give a fuck, like unappreciated, like whatever. I also feel like that's just really the cusp of it. Other than that, I have nothing really bad to say about him. I met him a couple times. We've always had fun together. I remember he came up to me one time before the whole Team Yes Beer thing, way before that. He had suggested that Patriot and Jeff Wigger be a team. He wanted those two to pair up, so it was an interesting idea. He has interesting ideas, so I would give him that. And
he's also one of the few people in CAW to have a girlfriend.
Myself included. So, yes.
I'm sorry, I just shitted on so many people there.
Yes,
but
exactly.
please.
Including this guy here.
He's a cool dude,
yes,
that's why.
But you're young, so it's okay.
You got time, kid, don't worry.
Wait, yeah, so...
You have time to fail. Trust me, we all do.
Yes, you have time to fucking be like that dude from American Pie right in the beginning of the film.
Yeah. So. Cool guy.
Alright. Caleb Blair.
Ooh. I have to come to Caleb's defense. I know Jay ripped into him. I've never had a personal problem with Caleb. He's never done me any harm. He's never insulted me. He's never gotten arrogant with me. He's never, I have said to him, sometimes I do feel like you fear challenging me. He said otherwise, that's fair enough, whatever. But, suffice to say, I can't really say anything bad about him. He hung out with me the last time we were here in Orlando, and he was fun to be around. So, I can't say anything bad. I mean, I know Jay Crack has his problems. It's unfortunate because I like Jay Crack too, so it sucks to know that two guys that I like hate each other. But I like Caleb.
Hate may be a strong word. I don't know.
Strongly dislike is definitely...
I feel like no matter what gets said, sooner or later it will end up being resolved. I hope that everything in like the small circle of people that do talk on Skype, which includes like you guys, Ego, Chris, Kenya Phoenix, on and off like Levi, people like that. You know, all those people that are always talking together. It seems like sooner or later. I hope that all the issues there get resolved because literally, and I want you all to pay attention here, none of it matters. None of it will matter. Trust me on that. If you got a friendship or even just like a mild, like coincidental thing going on with somebody just by interest alone, try and stick with it. Because honestly, I've made some of the best fucking friends I have had through this stuff. Seriously. And that's not weird anymore. The internet's an amazing tool. We can use it nowadays to connect and develop stronger connections with people than we ever could face-to-face nowadays, it seems.
And there's only 3 guys in my time that I have not resolved any issues with. One would be Grunge, only because he's disappeared. David, and Rudo. They're the only guys I've never resolved our issues or buried the hatchet with. And quite frankly, if Rudo one day came up to me and messaged me and said, listen, can we just bury the fucking hatchet? Look, I may not, again, like with Amir, I may not invite you over to dinner, but I'll say, you know what, whatever, we're under the bridge. Same thing with David. If David came and said, let's bury the hatchet, we're under the fucking bridge. I don't care. I'm that type of guy, but I know they won't do it. I know they won't because they're stubborn in their ways. But that's just...
Now, as far as Chris goes too, I understand he has a bit of a temper.
Yes, he does. I'll give you that. He does have a temper.
He can snap on somebody. I understand that. Now, that's not to give him an excuse, because that's something he needs to work on. Everybody has something that they need to work on, though. Alright? Yes. Sometimes there's some stuff that can be said in these Skype calls that can go a bit too far. I've known he has said stuff that has gone too far to other people, and he has had stuff said to him that have gone too far. I know also quite a good amount about his personal life. Me and him are good friends now. We've talked. Like, ever since the trip that he came out to us with Universal, especially on my part, with how giving and almost unnecessarily kind he was to me in a time when, just to be personally honest, financially, I was fucked. He carried my ass without even knowing me.
And I can vouch for that.
He met me that trip. Alright? And I don't know if he wants me to tell anybody that, or if he wants me to say that, because he's just that good of a guy. But ever since that trip, if anybody has a serious, huge problem with him, they might want to talk to me about it first. Because as far as what's going on with him and Jay, it's with him and Jay. But just try and figure it out, you guys. Overall, Chris is A+ in my book as a person.
Yeah, I have no points.
Alright, Jay.
Oh,
hilarious.
God, Jay.
One of the funniest men to ever exist in the universe of COD.
I think Jay, when it comes to him, every time I go on a Skype call, he'll say something like, hey Steve, fucking Adam threw out my cookie. As soon as he says that, I think he knows, I mean, I don't know deep down, but I think he knows that I'm going to come out with something really outrageous in response. Because I know how Jay and how he jokes, so it's not hard. So I can respond with something crazy or witty or what have you. Mm-hmm. I've had funny conversations with him. I've had serious conversations with him. The only complaint I ever have is, the motherfucker is from Boston. No, it's not even that he's from Boston. He came over to New York one time and didn't even bother to say, hey Steve, I'm here in fucking New York. Would you mind that we meet up someday during my trip? He didn't do that once. And I'm like, you know, come on.
My beef against him is that we actually don't talk that much.
Yeah.
We don't. But then again, I'm also never on Skype. I'm never on Skype, y'all. And that's nothing against anybody. I got tired of it after a while. Some of the Skype calls and stuff like that. It's just like, sometimes it ends up being an hour and a half of dead air. Just like, well, what are you guys doing? I'm bored. What about you? It's like, who wants to do that?
Either that or AJ's falling asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if Jay is in the call, it's going to be entertaining. And that's the other thing. I'm a hard critic. You gotta try to make me laugh. And I'm personally usually the funniest person around, in my opinion. Like, nothing against anybody else. It's my persona, it's my character, it's, who I am. I'm a goof. He makes me laugh. That's so huge.
Could you imagine Jay Crack and Patriot being a tag team? Could you literally imagine that? That would be like orgasmic bullshit right there.
So, only gripe with him is that we don't talk enough. I'm sure that we would be good friends, though. Other than that,
Well, yeah.
hilarious, and he also has some unique, on-point criticisms that I heard from him in the last episode, so I know that he's also a smart guy.
He seems more sociable on Skype than he is on Facebook. I've noticed that. I can get more out of him on Skype. Probably because it's more personable than it is on Facebook.
I also need to have more Asian friends, so
Right.
looking to re-up.
Well, another minority, AJ.
I got enough black friends.
Yeah.
No, that's including AJ, though, because I consider him.
I'll say this. I like AJ. Good guy. He's always stuck up for me when it came to the CWS stuff, so I appreciate that. But, like Jay, I think sometimes he can come off a little too politically correct. And
Right.
if anybody knows me personally, I am one of the most politically incorrect person on the planet, and it's not because I do it because I want to offend you. It's because I don't give a fuck if I offend you. I mean, look at the recent times. Good. I don't want to keep fucking bringing up an old feud, but Rudo keeps getting upset when I get politically incorrect. I don't do it because... I mean, okay, I'll admit this. In his case, yes, I was doing it deliberately on the other couple times because he kept fucking going back. But when I be politically incorrect, it's not because I'm trying to get a reaction out of you. It's because I don't give a fuck if I get a reaction out of you or not. It's just my personality. So.
AJ though, like, I haven't talked to him like a huge amount. Same with Jay. I've talked to him a little bit more than Jay, and he's always a cool, laid-back dude.
Yes.
Always seems interested too in like what I'm doing.
We're both
Likes my character.
We're both Christian fans, so that's one thing we have in common.
AJ, you are A1 in my book
Right.
for that, because I got to see him win the world title in WWE for the first time in his hometown.
And then what happened 2 days later?
I don't want to remember that.
Yes. I don't want to remember it either, but I am forced to because WWE wants me to.
Anyway.
And the only way you can win the world title back is to spit in Orton's face and Orton low blows him. And then he loses a month later. And never gets back.
Anyway, though, good guy, for sure.
Yeah, no complaints.
Yeah.
No complaints other than
Love to
what I
smoke
said.
with him someday. How many of these people on the list actually smoke? Because I already smoked with Caleb.
I'm like one of the few that doesn't smoke.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll figure it out.
You do look like one. You do look like this one.
I get that a lot, but... Ryan Carroll.
Fat fuck.
Ryan Carroll gets too much shit sometimes.
He does. Alright, to get all serious, yeah, he does get a lot of shit.
He does.
Despite the way he came off in that review.
Ryan Carroll actually, like, he likes me. I can tell he genuinely, like, actually gives a shit. And I thank him for that.
And the good
because
thing
even though he would text me sometimes randomly as shit, this was like a few months ago, he doesn't do it anymore. But, I don't know, maybe he lost my number or something, but it would be entertaining. He'd send me like a random photo, like a meme or some bullshit, and it was funny.
And when it came to AWF and promos, because this lazy fuck over here would never ask for them.
Well, I sent him to go do it.
Oh,
Easier.
okay, so that's how it works.
That makes
you have,
sense.
Yeah,
Because Carroll's always the guy to talk to somebody too. He's
Like,
always like the first.
I
to
always
message
wondered, since it was your Fed, why is this guy coming up to me and asking for him? Like,
He doesn't mind doing it, so I always
well,
just...
it's never mind.
I sent... he's my John Laurinaitis. I go and send him to go talk to
Oh,
people.
what happens when you fire somebody? Is he the one that goes and fires somebody?
No, I do that.
look at your future endeavors. People power.
No, I do that. I take the blame for it. People still blame him anyway, but I still take the blame for it.
Oh, okay. Well, I have no complaints other than he came off annoying in that review, but that's about it. And he's a fat fuck.
Alright, Nate.
You want to go first?
I guess I will. I have no problems with Nate. My experiences as far as talking to him have been pleasant. I'm going to allow Nate to take the floor if he ever gets a chance. I'm not going to say anybody specific. I have heard he talks shit about people behind their backs. He's not honest, dishonest, whatever. I'll let him take the floor and answer that. I am not going to assume. I've never seen it. I will say my conversations have been pleasant with him. I knew at one point he had a problem with me, and I came up to him like a man and said, listen, you got a problem with me, what's the problem? He said it was a misunderstanding, he thought that I was dissing him, but when he realized that I wasn't, then, yeah, he had no beef with me, he apologized. So, he apologized to me, so that's... I can't really say anything negative about the guy, except that as far as his promo work, I've given him my constructive criticism. I think now that he's Nate the Great, it helps him evolve better. But my problem with him was that the Bully Nate gimmick didn't really evolve. Mm-hmm. So once he went to Nate the Great, I think now it's a different touch to that character. Mm-hmm. So good for him. Good for him.
Nate has always seemed to find a way to include me in his circle. Whether or not I'm actually in it is to be seen. But anytime I get on the Skype call with him, he'll always just be like, hey guys, Alex is on the call now. Hang on a second, shut up. Let me say hi to him. Like, for a guy who has a sometimes like 5 to 10 other people in the call, and he's usually like the call leader, to do that is really fucking cool. And I want to point that out. Because there are some people that think that Nate is like Satan or something. Or maybe they used to. I don't know if he even has that rep anymore. He should, in my opinion. At least with how he's treated me, never has said a bad word about me. Not to my face, haven't heard about anything from behind somebody else's back. Never. And he seems to get that vibe that he'll do that. Never has done it to me. So as far as me and him go, Nate is A1 in my book. He is also going to have to do that Nate the Great gimmick a while anyway. That's where it was going to originally be done, actually, until I fucked it up and just stopped doing YLWA, basically. Good guy. Promo work, as far as like the character and all that goes, he has his niche. Like that, if I'm going to watch a promo of his, I know what to expect. So if I want to see that type of, like, his style that he has, which is very cool, late 90s heel, I'll watch it. Right now he's not late 90s heel, but you get what I mean. He has his own vibe to him, and I can't wait to smoke him out someday too. Ooh, we are going to enjoy some dank perp. Seriously. I'll fuck you up, man, with some, like, pineapple train wreck.
Now we're getting into the pop story.
Some, oh my god, some Queen Dream. Woo! What just came out recently? What did Jay just get? AK? Man, we'll figure it out.
You know what? There's another duo that we can compare ourselves to. I'm CM Punk and he's Cole Cabana.
Alright, I'm just not Jewish enough.
Yes, and I'm not married to a 5-foot Puerto Rican who has a big ass but no fucking, like, meat on her body.
Anyway, though.
But I do have a lovable girlfriend.
We digress.
Hi, by the way.
Nate. Hey.
Alright, Sonny.
Oh.
Sonny needs to get that on the shirt. Sonny, what you gotta do is, sir, you just gotta get your own shirt made, alright? And just a black, regular shirt, and giant letter O, lowercase h, and a period.
It should be like the what shirt instead of it's just O.
It will sell like hotcakes.
In fact, every time the audience, you know how they say what after like a pause, it should be like, my name is Democracy. Oh. And I'm about to dominate. Oh.
Yeah. Sonny needs to have that happen with his promo.
You could get easily over with that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, no. Oh. No. His gimmick should be like when Austin first did the what stuff. It was supposed to be intimidation. He's like, what? Are you supposed to be Steve Austin's friend? What? You're gonna be Steve Austin's friend? What? It should be Sonny going, oh, so you're gonna fight me? Oh. You gonna meet up with me? Oh, that would be awesome. I think
We just helped Sonny develop.
Sonny's got his new
character
gimmick
now. You're going to be over. You're welcome.
Yes.
Now that'll be $100 in cash.
Yes, and when you cock up your fist about to hit WMD, you go, oh. Boom.
No, but Sonny overall, to me,
he's been respectful to me.
Oh man.
Can't complain.
And anytime he leaves a comment too on any of my Facebook posts, it's always like insightful or has exactly like everything to do with what I'm talking about in the post,
Yes.
or he's just trying to add on to the conversation or something. He's like always involved, and I really do appreciate that from him, because as much as I was a critic on him earlier on,
Yeah, you were.
especially with his commentary, which when he was starting up, I was one of the first people to say, "What is this trash? I don't even want to watch the show. I don't like it." Because that's how much I didn't like the commentary that was going on. I'm a very big proponent.
A big story on that was when he first did his commentary with Gluteus.
Yeah.
Gluteus, there was one point where somebody in Sonny's background like interrupted him, and he kept saying, "Oh, we're gonna start over." I shouldn't say that. It sounds like an insult, but Gluteus,
Everyone does it.
like Gluteus tried to stay on track. He tried to play off it and says,
Right.
"Let's keep going." He made an excuse. Oh, that was my biggest fan or whatever. He kept giving him the ball to just forget about what happened before and get back on track. But Sonny just kept saying, "We're gonna start over. We're gonna start over." And it's like, no, Gluteus is giving you the opportunity to get back on track.
Yeah.
But to be fair, it was a beginner's mistake. He
Right.
learned from it. And I think the reason why people are a big proponent of him is he's exactly what we've been saying. He's respectful. He's willing to learn. He is dedicated. He is. I don't think he's there yet. I'm one of the few who agree. Yeah, his push is a little bit too quick. But if he is gonna get that push, he needs to take that fucking ball and go to the fucking end line.
And to be quite honest, right now, with some of the mid-card in COH, he's working harder than most of you. So, if you're pissed about where he is, that's your own damn fault.
Alright, Andrew Fisk.
Hey, he's my Buffalo boy. And wish that I was actually able to go see him while I was out on vacation up in Buffalo, like 6-7 months ago. It's not happening, but could happen again in the next few weeks. I'm going up to Buffalo again at the end of the month. So, possibility. Besides that, though, good guy. Again, same as Sonny, respectful.
Yeah.
Haven't had a huge amount of conversations with him, which, I mean, for somebody who was in our group, I definitely got to know him well enough, and I think he has, at this point now, his future is in his own hands.
Good guy. Really don't have much to say. He's respectful. Like I said, you can challenge people. There's the right way to do it. He just needs to learn how to do it. And learn that just because you have a different opinion doesn't mean you can't express it. Look at how many times we've been disagreeing in this video alone.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. Really. He's a good guy.
That's it.
Respectful.
Alright, and we're going to wrap it up with one last name here. Stu.
Oh boy. We haven't even talked about Stu at all in this video, so this
No,
is
yeah.
like
I mean,
here's and there's. That's about it. Who wants to go first?
Stu is a great guy. To not delve into too much personal stuff, Stu is very well interconnected now within our group, like our original WrestleMania group. Stu is a person I can go to try and get some motivation. He's somebody I can go to for some helpful tips. He's also somebody I go to just talk to, see how he's doing, because he's also someone that sort of has to deal with some of the same bullshit in ways personally that I also have to do. Whether it be mentally with like a mental illness or something like a disability or something that detracts in a way from you as a person, but not really, just changes who you are. We both have our ups and downs. Now, as a person, overall, he is one of my really, I would say, one of my closest friends from the WrestleMania group. Besides this guy over here from the WrestleMania group, it goes Johnny. Who else? It's Stu and like Brett, Kristen, Gilbert, like everybody. Stu was right there behind Johnny. And that wasn't by mistake. It's because he's a really good guy. Now, I will say though, as a call wrestler sometimes, he has disappointed me. I wouldn't say immensely, but he's disappointed me a lot because I know the dude's potential. I know where he can go. Like, I know. I seriously know. He could be better than almost everybody. He really can. And he's not. Why? Because he doesn't believe in himself sometimes. And it's unfortunate. And you can even tell that with the Zane LaFontaine character if you've paid attention to COH. There's real-life elements that get added into that stuff. And it's upsetting to me because, like, for instance, I felt like I had to pull my end of the storyline when it came to our feud. And I don't know if me and Stu have even had that conversation yet where I was just like, man, what were you doing? Because it was like, it really was like Undertaker Bray Wyatt, where I was like, I was doing promos, I was having matches, I was out there, like people knew that I was going up against Zane LaFontaine. I had to insert myself into that match, basically. It wasn't going to happen, I made it happen. Because it had to. As far as like my character was concerned, I needed the closure of that match at Summerfest 2. And I think he cut like one promo for our feud.
Yep.
And this was post M-Accuracy feud too, so I don't know if he was just worn out from it or what. But and it was hard enough just to get like a few messages from him sometimes. And I know how it can be. Like, I understand. People get busy. Life is tough sometimes. You don't want to do it. You don't want to turn the camera on and be somebody sometimes. But let me know. Just the communication part was the biggest deal for me. And the same thing is happening right now with his feud against the Patriot. Because the Patriot is carrying this feud as well. Sorry to say it, but if you're going to be in the main event title scheme and you are going to be going up against the guy who beat the guy, and now it's like we have an old feud going on and everything, and that's like, this is what you're bringing to the table right now, man? No wonder most people think that our match should be the main event. And it's nothing against him, the Patriot, the title, the storyline, anything. It's just a matter of what somebody brings to the table. And if you're in a situation where everybody needs to bring their A game, if it's the main event, if it's for the title, if it's for a long-term storyline that's finally going to be wrapped up, then I think he's dropped the ball. So he's dropped the ball a few times with his character when he could have been champion a long-ass time ago. And if there's anything to take away from him as a call wrestler, it is his apathy sometimes as a person, or his, I don't know, I guess his lack of belief sometimes in himself, which he'll be the first one to tell you about that stuff too. He's a very open book on that shit. And I respect him for it. But there comes a time where you need to put up or shut up. And I'm in the same boat right now, where I've been talking a lot about like making changes in my life and doing this and doing that, or wanting to pursue my dream with music, whatever, blah, 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 blah. There comes a time, though, where I have to put up or shut up and just accept my life as a person working 9 to 5, or actually follow my dreams. And the exact same thing can be said with Call. Don't half-ass a whole bunch of different things, because he has, how many different characters in Call?
2, 3, 4.
He has at least like 3 or 4, I'm pretty sure.
Something like that. Yeah.
And I don't know, I feel like it detracts from some of those other characters, especially Zane LaFontaine, who I think could have been his biggest and best. Now, one last thing before I finish it up on him.
And then I got
Seth McInerney. We're like, if we're going to be straight up here, because we're going to be straight up here, Alex Enterprise did it first. And I'm not going to drop names here or say one thing or the other, but just to be straight up, if I was doing something first, like let's say for instance, the upside down American flag, why should I have to change that part of my own gimmick that was already started originally before this even ever came up? Why should I have to change if I'm going to go to some other place? You know? I shouldn't, but I guess I have to, because homegrown talent. Now, the other thing is, too, apparently this character was going on, what, before...
It was in ACW.
Right. Does anybody remember ACW? No! So we're talking about the people that are paying attention to the real stuff that's going on now. And if we're going to be honest, Alex Enterprise was doing the character first. I was doing it as a heel and not as a face. And I don't know, it just... Seeing his work with that, it's cool, it's edgy, it's punky, but it's also, like, biting a bit of my swag, man. And honestly, the fact that he's never once said anything to me about that kind of irritates me. We've never had a full-on conversation about it. I never really wanted to really bring it up until now. I guess not because Shawn Walsh show, ratings and bullshit. No, it's because I was just asked about it.
Yeah.
But that's how I feel.
But now...
Love Stu Campbell, though, the person.
Okay, now for my thoughts after that rant. Let me tell you this much about Stu. Stu is like this guy, a brother to me. He doesn't realize how much he is liked, and
He does.
he's one of the few guys that can get you to like him without buying his way into it. I think that's what it is, because he doesn't have a whole lot. He's not rich. He doesn't have a lot of money. But the one thing that you can get out of him is that he is somebody that you know you're going to get a good conversation out of. He always feels bad because he doesn't know how to filter himself when, like, we're trying to have a serious conversation and he points out the stupid shit, the joking. Like, he'll pull that out and he admits it. So it's perfectly fine. Stu is a guy that I met 3 years ago. Well, I started talking to him in 2011, but I met him 3 years ago at Best in the World 2012, and it was a fun experience knowing that there's a guy out there in Philly who kind of resembles me in a way, somebody who, even when I started, I didn't think I was as talented as I thought. And when he did that feud with Patriot, I think that's the reason why for so long he's been able to have a good ride, is because I'm always giving ideas for Patriots feuds, and I'm obviously giving ideas for my feuds. So obviously when he's feuding with Patriot, and then right after him Accuracy, he's going to be on the ball, because he's not like us in the sense he wants to be told what to do, what storyline he's going to do. The only thing he wants is to know what promo he's going to cut. That's it. That's all he wants. So
put him in a direction and let him go.
Yeah, but he can't think for himself what he wants to... He can come up with ideas, but he's never the type of guy to dictate where he wants his character to go. So that's why, as far as now, just getting into his feud with the Patriot, he lost a considerable amount of steam because he didn't have that one person to help get him along the ride. And now he's back with the Patriot, and now I'm trying my best to get him to that next plateau. As far as my feud with Zayn, I said earlier, that was my best feud because Stu put in just as much as I put in. And I think it was the perfect dynamic of this guy who was once good, pure-hearted. Okay, sure, he'd be all up in your face, but now he's dark. The only thing I regret out of that and was ticked off about was that right after we kidnapped him, I told him he should change his colors. He one time when he came back, the Nightwing colors,
which he really should have done too against me in our match, because I had a crazy ass entrance, and it made him look stupid with him just coming out like it was a regular match.
Right, and that's the thing. It not only that it made him different and evolved, but then he went right back to his colors, and I thought he should have been like AJ, like he started like AJ Styles. Started getting the beard and the long hair, because he did.
The loner.
Yeah, he started to become a loner again, because of what M Accuracy did, because what M Accuracy did was like life-altering. So, yeah, and he's going to hate M Accuracy for that, despite the fact that because of his feud with M Accuracy, he's where he is. I mean, there's one promo that we did, I don't know if it's going to air, because he has it, and that's one of my criticisms, is he's unreliable. Is that we did this promo, it's for Ultimate Glory 4, is that he's in the back, I come up to him and I'm like, congrats on your world title, you are finally going to make it to the big one, blah, 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 just like kind of rubbing it in, and then he actually slaps me across the face. He gives, and I'm not talking like a little like this slap, he bitch slaps me, and then I just turn back to him, and I grab him by the shirt like this, and I say, you finally got your balls back, and walk off and laugh. Because that's how M Accuracy is. And for my confidence issues sometimes with the promos, he's usually the one that has to knock it into my fucking thick skull. Hey, asshole, you're probably one of the best guys here. There's a reason why you've won all these fucking awards. There's a reason why you're considered a top guy here. He's the fucking guy to do that. Overall, he's a guy, again, as I said before, that offers you so much with so little. That I think he needs to understand. And despite some of his quirks, I will never hate him. He's a great guy in general. So, and I hope he makes it.
Absolutely. I want him to succeed so much too with what he wants to do in life. And if that's announcing, so be it. Whatever he wants to do.
Well, one story
100%.
One story that's going to put him over is that my recent show, the one I did with the Stand, he was going to go, but then his finances didn't help. And I told him, don't worry about it. He still wanted to put in the $20 for a sixth guest, despite the fact that I had enough guests. But that's
Stu, when he came into our group too, I was a little bit jealous. Why?
He got all the attention.
He got attention, but he was also sort of doing my shtick. Funny, kind of like the goofy guy as well. Can be serious and political as well. And it was like I didn't know what to do. There was a little air of jealousy there.
Yeah.
He was a little bit older than me, had a little bit more facial hair, probably some more hair on his balls at the time. It was just a situation where I was like,
you're the same guy, but he's the one getting the recognition.
exactly. And it was like Woody and Buzz.
In fact, there was one quote that Kristen said at our trip in New York, when the WrestleMania trip. Because me and Stuart, that's one thing I will love about Stuart, is that we can do some stupid shit. For example, when a Subway's coming, this is what we do. We can do that. And it's funny. And the one thing she said, and it just made me laugh inside, was, dude, you two are like fucking brothers separated at birth. So, and it's true, because we act crazy.
And I didn't get that.
Right.
So, yes,
even though
real life, like, I love the dude, there was animosity and tension, though. And it was not, like, spoken about. We never had it off. No, I just got to know the guy. And I know him. He's not me. We're different.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Nothing that's ever happened has ever been because of him. It's extreme circumstance.
And without him, without that Summerfest 2 match, I gotta give it to him. I don't think there would have been the Alex Enterprise like we saw today. Wouldn't have been a great Patriot feud. I wouldn't have had that sort of momentum, in my personal opinion. So I give him credit for giving me a moment. So thank him for that, basically. And overall, too, I think if there's one more thing to be said, it's just wins our next match. It'll happen.
Or when's the next time accuracy is going to have to make you snap?
Might not be in this federation, could be somewhere else, but it'll happen.
Maybe escape nemesis.
Well, after we have had a nearly raw-length episode of the Shawn Walsh Show, just over 3 hours, hey?
Far exceeding my expectations, because I wasn't even paying attention to the length of time on this.
Right.
At all.
Yes, while I'm twiddling with my toes.
I'm just hoping that the battery isn't going to die.
Yeah, I'm twiddling with my toes at this point.
Yeah.
Well, is there any last comments from either of you?
Man, this was quite an episode.
If you give us some last comments, this fucker will go on all day.
Last quick comments.
You're going to break this in 2 pieces. You're going to upload this one
Yes.
first, and like the next hour and a half, you're going to upload after. And it will be a great show. People will love it.
I'll just say this. For quick comments, if it weren't for inaccuracy, there'd be no Alex Enterprise. And for fuck, there was no Alex Enterprise, there'd be no inaccuracy. We were a team prior to even entering into the American Terrorist and the main Funarchist. This is when I was R-Truth and he was Dolph Ziggler. Or The Miz, if you will. Awesome Truth. So, we needed each other to become what we are.
And real life, same exact stuff.
Pretty much.
So, that's real. Done.
Alright, well, that was a great episode. I hope everyone out there enjoyed this first time ever, and hopefully, maybe one day in the future, happen again. So, just keep sending your questions, askfm/ShawnWalsh105 for upcoming episodes, and we will see you next time. And I can see...
Dude, you just kicked it.
Well, that was a very special treat for all of you, as I released part 1, and it received very rave reviews, so much so that quite a few people messaged me and asked me to please release part 2. They didn't want to wait a week. It was in such high demand. I even asked everyone on the Call Shoot page if they wanted to wait till next Saturday, or if they wanted part 2 out today. And I got the response I thought I was going to get. Everyone wanted part 2 out. So that's exactly what you guys got. I hope you guys enjoyed part 1 and 2. It's one hell of an interview. It was a 3-hour interview. 3 hours. It's insane. But it was awesome. I'm really glad I got to hang out with Alex and Steve, and I got to do the Shawn Walsh Show, and I thought it came out really well. I hope all you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys are open to me possibly doing this again sometime in the near future. I don't want to say too much now because it's a very, very, very small, very minimal thing that hasn't really even been discussed. It's just an idea that came my way last night. But there's a possibility that the camera could come back and we could see another video cast for the Shawn Walsh Show as early as the summer. But don't get your hopes up. It's just an idea. It's in development stages. More information will come on that in the coming months. Also, in the next few weeks, we're going to have a bunch of awesome new episodes of the Shawn Walsh Show. I have interviews ready with the Call All-Stars champion AJ Young. I have with Caleb Blair. I have with CCL's top superstar and COH's newest acquisition, the Raging Redneck Ray Geddes. I have a Call superstar, or as he say, a Call legend, the one true Call legend, who's making his return to Call Wrestling, Sean O'Connor, which will be coming out in the next few weeks. And I know there's some people out there who are going to say, well, who's Sean O'Connor? Because Sean O'Connor, he's an old school Call guy. He was back in the old days, back when I first came around.
So to a lot of you new cats, you don't know who he is, but trust me, you're not going to want to miss this show, whether you're a fan of the old days of Call, whether you're a fan of today's Call, because he talks about his past, but there's a good chunk of the interview that is on his opinions on how Call wrestling has changed. And I told you all from day one that this show is going to be controversial. And that episode may just be the most controversial one since the Ryan Carroll episode. So you're going to want to listen. You may even want to leave some hate comments. So at least watch the episode so you know what you're going to talk about. Come on. I also have interviews upcoming with guys like Ultimate Nitro and Fisk. That's all coming in the coming months. Who knows what's going to be next week? Next week could be my interview with AJ Young. It could be my interview with Caleb Blair. It could be even this very special episode of the Shawn Walsh Show that I am announcing officially today, that there is going to be a special Egotistical Bastards versus Rap Metal. Shawn Walsh Show versus Reading the Script. Whatever you want to call it. And it is going to be on the Egotistical Bastards, myself, Jay Crack, and Ryan Carroll, who will be discussing our feud with Levi and Austin of Rap Metal, Brandon Ross and Matt Barnes. As you know, there's a lot of controversy surrounding that feud, a lot of hard feelings between both tag teams. So, we're going to dedicate a whole episode of the Shawn Walsh Show to that feud. If that episode is recorded in time for this upcoming Saturday, that will be the next episode. If not, it'll probably be with AJ or Caleb or Ray. Depends what I feel is appropriate. And you can look in the Call Shoot page and see who the next guest is going to be, depending on when everything is all recorded and all set up. But regardless, whether it's next Saturday, whether it's 5 Saturdays from now, there's going to be an episode with the Bastards and Rap Metal. So, look forward to that. I want to thank you all for watching the episode. I hope you all enjoyed it. Remember, AskFM/Shawn Walsh 105 to submit your questions. Don't forget also go to the Call Shoot page so you know who upcoming guests will be, so you can submit your questions at the appropriate time. Thank you for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day.